apologize for my voice. As you know, I'm with the Bus Riders Union. I just came from an anti-war march. I am a drummer and chanter. Thank you. As a queer Latino, I was always silenced. One for being Latino and one for being gay. In middle school and elementary school, I would hear things like, "You're such a faggot. Why do you walk like that?" Which today I wonder and say, people who are 12, children who should be learning about reading and writing, should not be learning about faggots and queers and what it means to be gay. I chant not because of the attention I get, but I chant because it is a time where my voice resonates through the streets of LA. I work with the Bus Riders Union, and after riding the bus for 7 years, I realized that there was more than just riding a bus. I noticed that the demographics of every bus line from the 105 that runs from Huntington Park to West Hollywood to the 2 that runs from downtown LA to West Hollywood changes. The people you see on the bus are different. I never knew why until I realized that there is something called transit racism. Many of us don't know what this means, but what that means is that the MTA allocates budget only to rail and highway, people that only wealthy people use in affluent communities. So I wondered, what about the people down the streets of LA, those who you considered the ghetto and those who you considered uneducated? We are educated. As in school, I knew there was a change for me. I knew I always had an anger towards homophobia, discrimination, and racism. But it was only until 10th grade class when I had my teacher who is here today, Mr. Bibi, who inspired me that there was more than just the surface. It started with learning about religions, learning about Christianity, a religion I took by heart and embedded. I learned every parable of the Bible, so that my parents would accept me because I thought that being gay, I had let them down. With Mr. Bibi, I learned about the Inquisition and how we killed in the name of God, but to me that wasn't God. I learned and became what you considered a rebel, when in reality, I was not afraid to stand up for what I believe in. I went to church and wore a pentagram, called the Antichrist, but when in reality, I learned that that was a pagan symbol way back before any satanic cults. Educating became my theme. Being silenced as a gay Latino, I knew that it was the time to let my voice be heard, so I found out about something called the GSA Network. I created a family that I stand with today. Just like tomorrow, we'll be marching down the streets of Chinatown for something called Youth Today, Walking for Equality. A lot of people don't know about something, but there's something called ageism, where adults and middle-class people think that because we're the youth, we don't have power. Today, we're saying, no, we are empowered youth. Today, we put an end to all those isms. I also want to thank somebody here who is Gabe Strakoda. He was the organizer that organized me with the Bus Riders Union. The story is funny. I was knitting on the bus. Turns out that one of the organizers came up and was like, "Richard, I love your scarf." And we talked on, and turns out I joined the Bus Riders Union. Now, I've been registering people to vote because I couldn't vote. I went personally walking in the streets of LA telling people about the propositions that were hurting my community. I was no against Proposition 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, and Measure R.
Yeah.
People now are like, well, Measure R, our buses, What are we going to do with that money? People fight on the streets, on the buses, for overcrowdedness. I say, well, tell Vieira Regosa to put more money into the buses and less in the police. Because one of my demands is 1,000 more buses, 1,000 less police. That doesn't mean 1,000 more buses on the street, but it means 1,000 more dollars in foundations, in organizations to help children. The police, they're there. They're just not fighting the right crime. Also, being in the GSA network, I got to go out to areas like the Coachella Valley, the Inland Empire. I will be traveling to Santa Barbara and San Diego soon. Areas that may not have the resources that I was given at home. I was diagnosed with depression during middle school. And now that I'm a senior, I'm 18, I can say I love life to the fullest. And I want to be there to help those children who need a hand to come up. I thought my work finished here in California, but it doesn't. I will be attending St. Olaf College, and yes, there is a St. Olaf for Golden Girls fans. There is a St. Olaf. I will be attending St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota, a conservative place. I know that here in California, I leave well-trained. People like the Bus Riders Union, the GSA Network, Marriage Equality, Collage Youth, Equal Action, all these groups have trained me well. I'm going to Minnesota to help the youth that don't have the resources that we have here in California. Every time I think about Minnesota, I think Midwest, I think Matthew Shepard. I don't want another Matthew Shepard. And not a lot of us notice that Matthew Shepard had something called white privilege. Because he was white and had a certain privilege that I may not have because I'm Latino. So I go out there in fear of being gay, but of being Latino. There was always this association between me being Latino and me being gay. It was either I'm Latino or I'm gay. Well, today I say, no, you know what? I'm Latino and I'm gay. I don't want a disassociation between two of my cultures. Today, I want to start something called, an organization called UFU, Una Familia Unida, for people in Minnesota who need a family to strive and to continue to grow. In St. Olaf, I will be majoring in interdisciplinary studies because I strongly believe in education is knowledge and knowledge is power. So I don't want to learn the standards of a system and limit my power. I want to create my education, thus creating my power, and my power should be reflected through my character. I am very thankful for everyone who is here. I am very impressed with all the other youth who are here. It actually motivates me to continue to fight. I know that there is a youth that isn't apathetic, but is actually fighting for what we believe in. And yes, I'm my throat is gone. I'm here because activism is not a characteristic. It's a dogma. It's a doctrine. It becomes part of your life. I'm an activist in the shower, as I walk to school, everywhere.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
And lastly, I want to leave you with two things. First, the words of a very important man to my life, Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. Many of us talk about making changes, but if you don't do anything, honey, that changes nothing. I want to leave you with the proverb that says, a dream without a plan is only a dream. A plan without a vision is only a chore. But a plan with a vision can actually change the world. Thank you.